warm welcome to all of you for a very important landmark in the life of tGELF. This is the very first Life USA. It has been Shiv's dream to have a live conference in USA for the last 3 years, and at long last we have managed to make it happen. And it's also happened because of the support of many people, including the Honorable Julia Gillard and President Susan Furman of Teachers College.
We're so happy to have this assemblage here because in addition to our own history, we have a special history with the tGELF Foundation and with the founder Shiv Khemka and the Nananjeet Khemka Foundation and with Gary Ishran. It goes back to when I first came to Teachers College, and we were invited by Shiv to participate in the development of the curriculum that is the foundation of this effort. Bill Gaudelli, who is chairman of our Arts and Humanities Department, Professor William Gaudelli, and Madhabi Chatterjee. Madhabi, are you here? I didn't see her. We're our two professors who were engaged in this effort and worked to design a curriculum focused on leadership, on developing attitudes, skills, value, and knowledge, and leadership styles during the course of secondary school. It's such a pleasure to be here today and to see the graduates of that curriculum. I know there are over 100 of you here who are now studying in the United States at prestigious higher education institutions and many elsewhere in the world.
I'm delighted to be here today. I'm personally excited about solutions that will connect young people with entrepreneurs in a hands-on way. I'm looking forward to exchanging ideas and learning about opportunities that leverage entrepreneurship to solve youth employment challenges. But most importantly, today I'm honored to announce the tGELF NIFTY agreement to collaborate and explore ways to implement NIFTY's entrepreneurship curriculum within the network of tGELF partner schools and organizations to globally provide young people with the education and skills to activate their entrepreneurial mindset and become empowered, ethical, and altruistic leaders and entrepreneurs. So now I'd like to invite Shiv up where we could exchange our agreement.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's have a I want to just add to Sean's words. First of all, a welcome to all of you. We're delighted to have so many friends here with us and our Leaders Forum members who've come from all over the US to join us today for our first live event in the US. Entrepreneurship, it's very fitting that with our first event, we're signing something on entrepreneurship. I was with our Prime Minister's team recently, and one of the big focuses of the country is innovation and entrepreneurship. And why? You know, we have a country where we add 25 million children a year to our population every year, and we need to create 1 million jobs a month for the next 30 years to be able to bring our people out of poverty. So it's a huge challenge, and we talk about education, and I always talk about education with a capital E, which includes many other things rather than just basic literacy and STEM. It's all about attitudes, it's about values, which tGELF's curriculum works to address. It's about entrepreneurship, which we believe is going to be a fundamental driver for the creation of jobs and livelihoods in a country like India, where we believe India can be a laboratory to test these ideas, and if they work, to scale them all over the world. So we're very excited. We've been talking for a year now, and we're delighted that we have come to an agreement to be able to bring NIFTY's tremendous curriculum to India. And we always say that the greatest entrepreneurs on the planet are in the US, so we're looking forward to learning from them a little bit about how to get it right in India.
Much success, Shiv.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Yeah, Global Poverty Project started as a dream about 8 years ago now, and I was at the tender age of 25, 26, and I left behind the world of corporate life with Hugh Evans and Simon Moss. And we thought, what could happen if a group of us came together and talked about extreme poverty and spoke it in such a way that you can take it to popular culture and break down these very complex issues. But when you really break it down, it's really not that complicated at all. It's about what can each of us do individually as part of society to make this world a better place. What is extreme poverty? It's about having food, water, shelter, education, and all those things. Yes, they're hard, but by themselves it's about equity, and it's about public policy, and it's about all of us working in tandem with each other to make those things happen. And you've seen over the last night what we're able to achieve, and I see Ms. Gillard in the ground, and thank you, by the way, for all your leadership over the last number of years in Australia as well. As an Australian, very much valued on your work you're doing now for the Global Partnership Education as well. And last night, unfortunately, we weren't able to play a video message from the Prime Minister because we're running late from Mr. Modi, but I think we have it set to technically actually debut the message now.
My young friends, a very good evening. I applaud you all who have come together for taking up such a worthy cause. Indeed, there is a need to liberate our world from the curse of poverty. It is our collective challenge. We cannot and must not let such injustice continue. It should be our collective aspiration that no human being remains impoverished.
It was a tremendous event, so congratulations to you. And Shiv, thank you for bringing me here and for everything that you're doing in this context and far more broadly to get people interested in education, passionate about education, and to pursue the cause of leadership with an ethical and altruistic framework. You do so much, so thank you very much. Let me throw some small numbers at you, because I've been throwing some big numbers at you, but actually sometimes the small numbers matter the most. It costs on average $1.18 in developing countries to provide a child a pre-primary, primary and secondary education. $1.18 a day to educate a child. It's not that much, is it? $1.18. You would have gone out today and spent much more than that on coffee. Developing countries are actually covering 88% of these costs. So the funding gap per child, per day, is 14 cents. 14 cents. It's not a lot of money. 14 cents to make sure that children have an education. If you can see your way to being passionate about raising that 14 cents, then you're going to change a child's life. I urge you to become involved and to do so. And I thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me here today. It's an incredible honor and pleasure. I wanted to thank tGELF, the leadership of tGELF, and today I'm going to tell you a little bit about me personally and then also about what I do professionally, and I'll speak a little bit to the Syrian refugee crisis. And the reason that I'm taking you on a personal journey is because my conversations with the great Gauri Ishwaran suggest that this may be something that the scholars might find interesting. So you'll bear with me through a little bit of personal and a little bit of professional. What I do is I study sort of the primitives for education. We've talked a lot about education tonight, but actually education depends on human brain development. And it depends on exactly how well that development proceeds. And so what I do on a daily basis is I study those influences on human brain development, be they genetic, be they environmental, be they some interaction between the two. And at what point in development are we seeing changes in very basic skills that are important for conflict resolution, for educational achievement, for interaction with others? And so what are these skills? What am I talking about? What is developing in the human brain? Well, human brain development supports basic skills like what we call theory of mind or empathy. Theory of mind is the ability to take someone else's perspective, the ability to think through what they're thinking so that you may interact with them at their level. This is something that we don't see in children until about 5 years old.
Thank you very much. There's been some wonderful speakers, and we're delighted Prime Minister Gillard, Dima Amso, Sean, Osborne took the time to be with us, and we really respect and value our friendship and our partnership with them. I wanted to tell you about something that our Young Leaders Forum students decided to do. And they said, look, we need role models. We need role models for ethical, altruistic leadership. And they said, we want to start awarding people that we believe are ethical, altruistic leaders on the planet an award. And so we said, fine, we encourage that. And there are 2.5 million children, and our Leaders Forum, which gets them together, 250 of them, and they created a voting system to vote for. They created a list of, I think, 50 names, and from those 50 names, they created a small process to vote for people that they felt embodied real leadership. And as I keep saying, leadership with leadership skills, ethics, altruism, and decisive action. And on that note, we're starting for the first time ever these awards, and we're very excited that the first 5 winners of these awards have been chosen. And with that, I'd ask Sukrit to, Ms. Ishwaran actually, to announce the winners, and Sukrit then to play something about that. Come.
Well, as Shiv just explained, we have our Leaders Forum members have picked up 5 persons who embody the qualities that you see up on the screen. One particular person, according to our Leaders Forum students, embodied all these qualities. And so it's our pleasure to announce that our very first award is being given to Bill Gates.
So yeah, I'd just like to thank the foundation for this award on behalf of Bill.
Okay, the second winner of this prize is not actually a person, it's an organization. And there is a connection. The first winner of this prize actually introduced us to this organization. I was at Davos in January this year, and I got an invitation from Bill and Melinda Gates to attend something for an organization I'd really not heard of. And it was far up on the hill, and it was cold and windy, and I felt, oh, who's going to trudge up there? But since it was Bill and Melinda, and I felt, let's go and not be rude because we'd accepted. So we trudged up the hill, reached, and I had the most incredible evening of my life, listening to the tremendous work being done by a small organization of a few Australians and some fantastic board members who'd come to the US and had started something called Global Poverty Project. So I've had the privilege to get to know them over the last year, and I've had the privilege to get to know some of the board members, and I know that a number of people from Global Poverty Project are here. We had someone work with them this summer. Jay worked with them this summer, and they visited India a few times. We've visited them a number of times here, and we're very excited to hopefully bring them to India, to have an event in India which uses the technologies and ideas that have been developed by Global Poverty Project to show that India is part of, and India's youth is part of a social movement to support the Sustainable Development Goals on the project, and that we're one world and we're all working at it together. And so I'd like to invite GPP, Wei, Martha, and other members from GPP on stage, please, to come and to receive the award.
Well, from the votes that came in, the next winner of one of our awards is Emma Watson. Well, she's a Goodwill Ambassador for the UN. The kids voted for her, and we have a young intern from UN who works with the He and She project to please come up and receive the award. Our next winner, I think, you'll all endorse with all hands down, because the next winner of our award is no less a person than the Reverend Pope Francis. And we have William Godelli, who is a great admirer of the Pope, who's going to receive the award on his behalf. Thank you, Bill. All right, we still have one more award I find that we need to give out. Can anybody guess to whom this award would go, you think, from the point of view of the values that we put up on stage? Any guesses? No? I'm too small a fry for that. Someone to do with education. Yes. Salman Khan. Well, that brings us to the end of a wonderful evening. We would like to give a special token of thanks to the Teachers College, Columbia University, for all the support that they have lent us in the organizing of this event.
Well, thank you very much. I think the awards, we've started something. We've started the beginning of a community that we all jointly recognize as a community of ethical, altruistic leaders. And it's not a community decided upon by all of us at the foundation. It's decided upon by the young people in our schools that are looking at what's happening on the planet and are voting with their own thoughts and ideas. I'd like to thank all of you, all our guests who came this evening, took your precious time. I want to thank all the Young Leaders Forum members for coming from all over, from Stanford, from California, from the Midwest, from the North, from the South, and from India to join us for this first inaugural Life conference in the US. Wei, thank you. It was your idea that we come to New York. We were going to do this at Brown University, but Wei said, why don't we do this in New York? And I said, okay. And that was only about 2 months ago. So we pivoted and we decided to do our first inaugural event in New York. And now I think following a vote of the Young Leaders Forum members, they said they want to do this every year. So we're going to do this every year, and we're very much looking forward to this becoming a fixture in the most busy week in the year in New York, but a fixture where we have a time with our young scholars, young leaders from around the world who gather together, and we work together to think about how we can make the world a place that's more equitable, more just, and more in harmony with the natural, the environment and everything else, because I see, unfortunately, right now the world heading in a direction of incredible inequity and suffering, and we need to correct that. And I think with great leadership on the planet, we will be able to do that. And we're very delighted to have all of you here because we know that all of you share in the same journey with us. But thank you all very much for joining us.
tGELF, leading the change.